need to get the incredible information for you guys about exactly what it is that I did to heal depression, to heal 40 years of depression. Completely crazy. But it turns out it's not completely crazy. Yeah. So the deal is that we think we're trapped. Whenever we're depressed, what's happening in the brain is that we have set up a loop and it is self-referential. So it goes, hey, this is what the deal is. And you can't get out of it. So it keeps telling you this is the way it is. And it keeps giving you the current moment. And, people always talk about you have to be in the present moment. Well, there's no one thing that works for everybody at all times. I mean, we're just in different places in our lives. And I've spent so many years being depressed. And now I understand what happened in my brain as I took certain steps. Um, I understand now that this is a brain function that can be activated, can be explained, can actually be explained. Because I can explain it. I have a course that is a free course for anybody to look at that they want. And it's really interesting to find out. I did a little connecting with Chat GPT and with my therapist, who is what's it called? She's all about the nervous system. And so we had a talk, and I talked to her about all the things that I had spoken with Chat GPT about, because what I did to heal 40 years of depression like that um, is actually an ongoing situation. I don't mean that ongoing with clinical depression. The clinical part of the depression is gone. It's been gone. But now I realize that what I've been doing for the last 3 years since I did that is that I've been learning how to literally change my mind for good. And you can do the same thing. You can become that person that you want to become. You don't have to be whoever that person is that you say to yourself, I'm just not happy with being that person. I want to be somebody else about it. And you don't have to. You can actually change everything about your personality, everything about where you stand in relationship to your life. This is not a sales pitch. I'm trying to give you information here. This is not a sales pitch. Okay. I mean, if anybody wants me to come and give a talk, I can do that. I love to do that. And that is something I do. So, let's go. But what happened for me was that I apparently went through a true neuroplasticity, a real neuroplastic change. And it's like, what the hell is a neuroplastic change? Well, neuroplastic change reflects that our brains have plasticity. And that means, we think plastic and we think hard. It's actually completely different for the brain. We can actually rewire how we think. And what I proved to myself was that I can do it, and you can do it with really tiny, tiny steps. You do not have to be a superhero. You do not have to be, thank you, Vero. You do not have to be somebody who is a superstar. In fact, what you have to do is engage something completely different from the toxic masculine that we've all learned, which is push, 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 make it happen, make it happen. No, we have to do something completely different. We have to move into the feminine approach. And I will tell you exactly what that is. You know how in our regular but totally unhealthy cultures, we are told that you should work really hard and you should push harder. And if something's not working, just keep at it. This is absolutely not the way to do it. This is absolutely not the way. What we need to do is take very small and practical steps. Very small, and they need to be steps that we can feel the shift. And I am not talking a major shift here. This is where it gets a little weird, but this is how the brain gets rewired, okay? The brain gets rewired when you realize that you're at a party of one. You're at a party of one, and actually it's two. It's you and Miss Depression. Like, you've invited Miss Depression into your party, and she's the only guest. And then you're like, "Oh my god, this sucks," like, "This is the most horrific party I've ever been to. I need to either get really drunk or I need to leave this party," and these are not good options. So you need to have another guest at the party, you guys. You really do. And that guest is going to be somebody that you really enjoy. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that makes you go, "Yes, I feel so great," all of a sudden. If you are depressed, you know that you need to take steps up, not try to jump from, "I'm at the bottom," to, "Look at me, I'm at the top." You know it doesn't work for you. What you need to do is think of something that you love. For me, one of the things is the look of light sunlight on snow. So in so if I'm in a really bad place, one of the people I can invite to my party, my internal party, is Miss Sunlight on Snow. And here she comes. She's here. I feel her. It gives Now, you're going to have to pay really close attention to yourself. And if you're used to being depressed, you're probably not going to want to do that, but do it anyway. Because this is the way you don't only just make it to tomorrow. This is the way that you completely change who you are. You completely heal, because depression isn't something that you can't fix. But all we're usually given is the medication, and we go into the therapy and the group therapy, both of which are fabulous. If you get really good therapists, really good group therapy, I highly recommend it. Highly, highly. But if you're still struggling, you're still suffering, what you need to hear is that it can be changed and it can be transmuted. That energy of depression, anxiety, um, can be transmuted. And I know it because I did it. And I continue to transmute my energy just about every day. Now, my name is Lori Kirstein. I have a company called the Goodbye Good Girl Project. And it's called that because my my mode of operation is I go for freedom, and any rules that are about oppression or putting me down, or even if they are internalized stuff that I've come up with inside of myself, I go, "No, I'm going to find that truth. I'm going to find what's really true, what is really supportive of me, what really gets me off of any hooks um that I'm on." Let me explain something for anybody who's here. You will see a reflection in this, but not here. And that's because I had cataract surgery last week. And now this eye is 20/20. And so I can't have, I can't, I can't have anything in here until I go get a new set of glasses. So it looks kind of, but we'll all survive the experience. So the deal is that I went through decades and decades and decades of clinical depression, and all I knew was the things that we all know. Go to therapy, take the medication, and learn some coping tactics. We are not told you can shift this, you can transmute this, you can go into the center of the eye of the storm, and you can bring in something that is stronger than your willpower, stronger than your despair, stronger than your darknesses, and it will do the heavy lifting for you and usher out the old pattern of your brain telling you over and over again how depressed you are. And instead, it will usher you into being clear, your mind, your brain literally having a new pathway. So you're not your brain is not stuck in I expect crap, I expect crap, I expect crap. Your brain now has a new track. It has jumped that needle in the groove of the record, if you're old enough to remember what actual vinyl records are or like them. Anyway, whether you grew up with them or not, and you get out of that groove, and now you're in a new place. You are in literally a new place. With your brain is in a new place. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. My name's Lori. I'm with the Goodbye Good Girl Project. I healed 40 years of clinical depression in 5 days. And this is not a marketing talk to you guys, actually. I mean, if you want to have support around this, I do coaching and all that stuff. But that's not what this is. This is me bringing you some information that we're not really told. And thank you for the hearts so, so much. And please share this out if you'd be so kind. It really is my mission to help people get free, to help us all get free. I have come to realize that the things that stop us in life are all shiftable. They're all shiftable. We've been lied to. Thank you very much, Rachel, for sharing. Thank you so much. Um, we've been lied to. We've been told that there is no way for us to have the power that we need to to heal our emotional bodies, and we are not told that depression and anxiety is part of the brain, and that the brain has plasticity, which means it can shift, it can be reoriented, and that's exactly what I did. Now, I didn't know, I didn't go into it that the night that I was trying to just survive and not hurt myself that night. Let me be extremely honest and transparent. I was just trying to survive a night. And I took a piece of advice from somebody on YouTube, and I made it my own, and I worked with it in my own way. And it involved some very specific things. It involves being willing to be the witness of your emotions. So, in other words, instead of like arguing with them or going and grabbing the liquor or the drugs or the whatever it is, the sex, whatever it is that you do to kind of keep the depression from swallowing you whole, but that you become willing to see it, you become willing to notice it, and that you become willing to start to understand how it's possible that you can shift it and then bring in the other person to your internal party, your internal party is what I call it. Because right now, what you've got when you're depressed or anxious, you've got you and you've got Miss Depression. You and Miss Depression having a conversation that just goes like, just dead. Like this is not fun stuff, right? Not good stuff at all. And you need to have somebody else at the party, don't you? I mean, if you had an actual party and you had that kind of a person, you'd be calling your best friend going, you got to get your butt over here because I can't take this. Right? So this is exactly what you need to do. You need to bring something else in. The something else is something that you already feel just fine about. You don't have to argue with yourself. You don't have to pretend anything. You don't have to lie to yourself. So, one of mine is the sunlight on newly fallen snow. Rachel, you are so welcome, and thank you for that. That's very sweet of you. That's really kind of you and compassionate. Um, I'm glad too because it completely changed my life. Um, Hi, Michelle. I've got Substack here and TikTok here. Really glad to see you, hun. I'm talking about how to actually change our brain, how to actually change our mind, transmute the energy of depression into something else. This can be done not just with depression, but let me tell you, if you start with depression and you show yourself that you actually can do it, then in that moment, as I did, that there is nothing you can't switch. There's nothing you can't shift. You have plasticity in your brain is I don't know how to even talk about it yet. I'm getting into the whole brain thing. Yes, it is, Rachel. She said helping others is always a good vibe. That's a t-shirt, child. That is a t-shirt. Oh my god, somebody write that down. How come I do these things and then I never have a freaking piece of paper? I am too funny. I'm like, I need to write stuff down, y'all." Okay, well, I'll just take my marker set that I bought myself because 'cause I'm a art fanatic, and I'll find a piece of paper. But anyway. Oh my god, thank you for the tiny Christmas. Oh, so sweet. I love it. My birthday's Christmas Eve, so I'm gonna take that as a birthday present. Did I say New Year's Eve? I hope not. It's Christmas Eve is my birthday. So, here we are, we're taught when we are diagnosed with depression, we are told, "Well, you're gonna need some support." Okay, fair enough. That's great. That's good advice. You might need some medication. Okay. Do I have to stay on it forever? Maybe, maybe not. Kinda depends on well, we don't realize that that's only partially helpful. And we're also told you can have therapy and you can do group therapy. And those are great things when you find the right people. Then thank you for the follow, Harvey. I think that's your name. I'm sorry. I'm just still learning to see with my new eye since I just had cataract surgery and I can see again. Um, what we're not told is that you can literally change it. You can literally shift it for good. Because here's what happens with depression is we end up I mean, I had it for 40 years, so I know what I'm talking about. Um, we think it's our identity. We get to that place where we think it's our identity. And that happens naturally. It's not like we're stupid or something. It happens because if you're depressed enough, then you're having to monitor yourself all the time to be sure that you're okay, that you don't need some more support or some adjustment to your meds. Or, I mean, it's a full time occupation. It really fucks up your life, right? It makes you like you have to focus on this stuff instead of what it is that you want to do and who you really want to be. And I spent I spent the same decades looking and looking for what is the source code where I can what is the nugget, the internal place where I can do the healing that I want to do from the inside out so I'm not in a constant healing journey in terms of like working at it and working which is what I did. I worked at it for 40 years. And I wanted there to be an end to that. I didn't think there would be, and there was. But how many of you are willing to entertain the idea that the very thing that's tormenting you, which is an emotion, um, can be healed by entertaining a different emotion, not instead of. I'm not asking you to be a superhero and try to push the depression out of the room. That is not possible. That's not possible. You know why? Because when we are trying to push out something dark, we just give it more energy. Now, fortunately, the opposite is also true when we start giving more attention to what is light and helpful, that increases. So that's why if you're sitting in the middle of your internal party with your depression, you have missed depression in you, and the only thing you can think to do is reach for the alcohol or the drugs or the whatever, you can also invite in for me, I told you one of mine is miss sunlight on snow. Because when you focus on how you are feeling and sensing, not only the depression, not only the anxiety, but the sense of how your body feels. What sensations, what inspirations, what How are your muscles feeling? What are you sensing? What are you aware of? You may not even be able to define it. But if you will stay focused on that when you invite somebody else, somebody a little bit lighter, a different in nature from Miss Depression who came to your party. The crackling in your ears from congested sinuses are definable. Fatigue, no lie, babe. No lie. By the way, if you haven't tried a neti pot, Neti, um, that's been my magic for years. When I feel like a cold is coming on or something, I go run this slightly salinated water through my nostrils in the sink, and I don't get sick. So try a neti pot if you don't already have one. Okay, I'm looking for helping others is always a good vibe. I swear I'm gonna make a t-shirt like that's gonna be awesome. Okay. Ha! Thank you. I love my glasses, and I'm gonna go get a new prescription now that this eye is perfect and this eye is needs a little bit out. But now my glasses are gonna be all affordable. I'm gonna be able to buy from a place like I Buy Direct, EYE, not I. ibuydirect.com. You can get glasses prescription for $80. Yes. Now we're talking. Yeah, I love glass frames. I have all kinds of glass frames. Okay. Um, so I mean, how long have you struggled with feeling anything that doesn't feel good? And you feel like I'm at the mercy of this thing. Did you know that you are made of energy? Did you know that that's literally your source code is energy? And it's the coolest energy on the planet because it it is completely malleable. You can completely um reshape it. It's kind of like Play-Doh. Hi, Carlson. Thanks, babe. Look at all you liking me. Oh, she likes me. They really, really like me. Anyway, if you could share this out too, that's great, you guys. Appreciate it. Um, so you are made of energy. I am made of energy. You are made of atoms. I don't think we'd argue with that. You're made of atoms. And atoms are energy. You split an atom, you blow up a country, right? I mean, like atoms are energy, right? We are made of the same source code. Oh God, Carlson, thank you, honey. Um, so what does that mean for us? That means that while we're over here trying to do willpower to make things happen, we're missing the biggest opportunity of our lives. W- Okay. Okay, cool. Um, okay, Carlson. We're missing the opportunity to use real power. Now, the power comes from the place that we've been enculturated to distrust the most, and that's the feminine. It's from the feminine side of the brain. Again, my name is Lori. I'm with the Goodbye Good Girl Project, and I healed 40 years of depression in 5 days. Jore, that's a whole different conversation. I'm not going to get into that right now. But if you're helped by that, then good on you. Um, I mean, whatever works for people, as long as it is raising them, I'm fine with it all. I'm not a fan of religion. I am a fan of the enlightened beings. So that's as much as I'll say about that in this conversation, because this conversation, I really want to get across that what's happening here is that you and me, each of us has the ability to literally shift the way our minds work. And when we shift the way our minds work, when we shift our emotions just by 1%, then we change the quality, the nature of our lives. Now, I'm not talking about manifestation in the way that you hear about it all the time. I'm not talking about, um, oh, I want a boat or I want a great job. I mean, and that comes with this, but it comes as a natural thing, which cannot it can be shifted back. So suddenly you become that attraction factor. It becomes your natural being, and you no longer see yourself as a victim to your life, because now you understand that everything that happens, everything that you walk through has an energy, and you have the ability, because you are made of energy, that you can actually shift and transmute. Do you know the word? Some people don't, but you can transmute your energy. It's like taking silver and turning it into gold, and you can do it with your own emotional body, and it also it resets your brain. Imagine that. Imagine going from depression to not to, "Okay, I'm better for a week." No. Imagine going from depression to, "I feel I'm fine. I'm good. Yeah, I don't have depression anymore." I never thought that day would come. I honestly never did. Jore, you are not alone. A lot of people definitely want more money and need more money, especially these days. So, the idea of us being energy is that we are constant attractors. We are constantly attracting. I'm gonna take these off even though my eyes look horrible on this, but that's okay. We're constantly in a mode of attracting. So when people talk about, "Oh, I wanna teach me how to manifest money and manifest a job and manifest a partner," and all that, it's that drives a big misunderstanding, I feel, because we are consistently manifesting all the time, all the time. We are energy factories. What we feel, think, believe, that's all energy. And as we set in that place in ourselves, it goes out and it either creates opportunities that we like or opportunities we don't like so much, right? And so if we are lacking in money, what we have to do is to become aware of what is this soup, I call it a soup of our energy, right? It's a soup that it is flavored with all of our beliefs and our thoughts and all of the things that we've been not being deliberate with. We've been feeling we were taught this. Like I said, it's not that we're stupid, it's not that we're morons, it's not. We were taught the world is this way, it is set in stone, and you just have to learn how to deal with it. That is not true. And to make that shift in your mind is an enormous freaking shift. And that is really, if you want to do this kind of work of shifting your emotions, it's very helpful to start to wrap your mind around how that could possibly be true. And I want you to be skeptical. You know why? I want you to be skeptical because I want you to question. Questions are so amazing. Questions bring you into being honest with how you feel and what you think, and they bring you out of frustration and into curiosity. And when you're curious, you will hunt until you find an answer, you know? Um, Control is not love. Control is fear. Jure. Exactly. 100%. Um, so if you really, can try to, in fact, ask me the questions if you would. If you feel like you can do it. I don't want you to put yourself in a position that doesn't feel good to you. So if you don't wanna do this, please don't do this, okay? But if you want to share what is the thought? What is a thought that comes up in your mind when I say you actually can shift your emotions because they're energy? What is a question that comes up? Because that question is sacred. It's a sacred question. And it's sacred because it comes from you. And you are the birthplace of all that happens in your life. A harsh truth that becomes less harsh and more happy when you learn how to manipulate, work with the Play-Doh of your energy and the quality of your life starts to change. You stop being miserable. Yes, I do. You're right. Yeah. Ray Chillin. I like that name. That's cool. Yeah, I had an operation. I had what do you call it? Somebody threw a pencil, not at me, but when I was in like 7th grade or something, threw a pencil. So I'm that kid. They go, "Don't throw that pencil. Put your eye out." It didn't, but it went into this eye a little bit, and so this eye, just stopped maturing when I was 11, 12 years old. So now I have 2 different colored eyes. Not as pretty as David Bowie's were, but hey, you know? Oh, thanks, Jory. That's very sweet of you. It was pretty interesting, I'll tell you. And I don't remember any pain, by the way. I don't remember any pain. I went instantly into shock, apparently. You know? So being 11 when it happened was probably a great idea. That was good planning. It had to happen. Um, but we all grow up with this idea that we don't have any real power. And I want you to know that that is a lie. I want you to know how much of a lie that is. If you've been in spirituality, you've been told lots of things that you go, "Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right." It's like, "That's good," like, "That's gonna make my life that makes sense, so I'm gonna follow that idea." Um, Trying to think of a really good one, and if you've got a really good one, throw it in the chat. Well, the only one I can think of is one I don't even agree with, and it's, God never gives you yeah, right, exactly, Morgan. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm talking about the misleadings that we actually think are right. Like they sound good and they may even be true. Like, okay, here's one. Here's one. Like God is everything. Like God is omnipresence. God is everything. Okay, so if you believe that, and that's a good thing to believe because it, but I have done decades of searching, decades of questioning. And so my answers came that we are all energy, that our source code is energy, and that energy that we call God or universe, um, it doesn't play favorites. Um, it it's constantly giving. It is love and light, and it's constantly flowing. And we are the ones who either make room for it or shut it down or pause it or make it a little more difficult or a lot more difficult. And what we've made of that fact over the years is that something is wrong with us and that we need to heal in terms of, I'm flawed, I'm broken, and I need to be better now. And in some cases, it sure the heck feels that way. Sure the heck, like if you're traumatized. Yeah, coherence is a good word for that. And my name is Lori. I'm with the Goodbye Good Girl Project, and I'm teaching people how to begin to heal depression, anxiety, and that you can actually transmute it. So come on in and let's talk because I healed 40 years of depression in 5 days. For real. You've had losses you're in shock over. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Morgan. Um, Please do share this out, you guys, and thank you so much for the hearts. It gets me out onto the FYP, apparently. Um, when we have losses, it is natural to grieve. I lost my mom when I was 21, and I grieved that for a very, very, very long time. Um, and I couldn't seem to shake it. I couldn't seem to shake it. I was just buried in it. And that's what caused the clinical depression, and that's what caused 40 years of, being buried in this the truth of this emotion, because I didn't have the understanding, first of all, that I do have the power. Second of all, how I have the power to transmute the darkness to the light of my emotional body. That I have the power to transmute, permanently transform the energy of who I am. I never in a million years thought I'd be saying stuff like this. And the healing I went through is just 3.5 years old now. But I use what I learned every single day. And it's not like I use it like I have to drill in every single day. It's not like that. Every day I become more and more expansive with what I can do and what I see in my life that I can then make use of. And I have a better and better quality of life and a better and better quality of the work that I do in my own business, and also the consulting work that I do for other people. And the money, to speak to your point, Jory, the money has started to come. Now, I'm not talking yet about like hundreds of thousands, and I'm expecting. Oh, thank you, Kisteline, like, forgive me. Um, oh, thank you, Morgan, from my heart to yours, babe. I'm very open-minded. I do like people. I don't like cruelty. I don't like stupidity. I don't like religion. I don't like anything that keeps us apart from each other. That's just control, as Jory said earlier. Um, so I'm not into it. Um, I'm much more interested in, oh, thank you for the follow, you guys. I'm much more interested in what are you feeling and how can you feel better? Stupidity and ignorance. You know, I want to share with you a really interesting bit of word distinction that came to me the other day through a teacher of mine on YouTube. Um, so it's the difference between the word knowledge and wisdom. And knowledge is where we can read a bunch of books and we go, I know, but our life still looks like crap, right? We're like, I know all of these things. I know about healing, and I know about energy healing, and I know about this, and I know about, and we're doing our best. We're doing our best. Oh my God, we are. But we haven't applied it, or we haven't figured out how to apply it yet. Um, and so we all are walking in ignorance of one degree or another right now, most of us, because we've bought into a system of control, a patriarchal system of control that was started millennia ago when religion said, "Hey, we can't let you be in direct contact with the divine. No, no. We can't let that happen. We need you to look to us as the go-between and give us your money." So that became part of the social thing. It became part of, like, as time unfolded, it's the whole corporate thing of, you have no power, you have no invention. That now, when religion ushered it all out, they ushered out the feminine, because the feminine. Oh my God, what did you do, Kisteline? Oh, that's so cool. Thanks. I don't really know what that means. I'm relatively new to TikTok, by the way. I'm about 6 months. Um, Oh, yeah, the whole thing, the Christmas presents. Thank you so much. I would love if you would tell me. You know what? I'll look it up. I'll do my Google research or Chat GPT, whatever comes first. The feminine was ushered out. So let me give you some information that you may not have. You canceled Christmas. Don't cancel the 24th. It's my birthday. Just saying. Um, so and I love my birthday. I love my birthday. I just think it's so much fun to have everything out there full of beautiful lights and things. Well, not everything is beautiful, but yeah. You should wear green. You should wear like a green Grinch wig on Christmas. I'm just saying. And then hire some little girl to run around with you in a Cindy Lou Who costume. I think that would be that would be fun. That'd be awesome. So here's some information about your brain. And this is really thank you very much, Morgan. Um, now we have the masculine. Oh my god, Morgan, perfect. I miss my mother too. I miss my mother too. She's been gone 46 years as of this past December 10th. That's weird. How could you not see your own mom for 46 years, right? That doesn't make any sense. Um, and I've done a lot of healing around that, but okay, the brain. So masculine side, oh, Joray. That's terrible, honey. Uh, yes. Yes, I will. And I actually do see her in when I'm sitting down and doing some visioning and things. I don't mean anything that's, like I'm not seeing a figure standing in my room, that kind of thing. Um, but anyway. Okay, the brain. Let me not get off topic because it's easy for me to get off topic. Left side of the brain, right side of the brain. Left side of the brain is the masculine. We all have it. We all have the feminine side of the brain. Terrific. Wonderful. Balance. No, no balance because back at the start of religion, we don't want anything that has to do with emotion, intuition, connection to the divine by yourself. No, we want your money. We want your obedience. We want you to let us just whatever we want. So women have been oppressed, abused. 1 in 3 reported. 1 in th 1 in 3 women will experience SA in their lives, and that's low because that not all of them are reported. That's not okay. That's not okay. And men not standing up for us and getting active with doing so, that's not okay either. All never, ever, ever gonna be okay. My body is not here for your amusement. I'm not an amusement ride. Screw that. That's not real. So, the best we can do with the pains that come our way is to make the most of them, to get something positive and forward moving and I was gonna say inspirational, but, if you've been through SA, you're not gonna feel inspired at first, right? You're gonna feel more like you need to get to anger. So, here we have the masculine side, the feminine side. Masculine side is about stuff like goals, okay? It's about goals. It's about, um it's about practicality, um, and that's good stuff. We need that stuff, right? Oh, thank you for the finger hearts, Kistaline. Cool. Um, the right side of our brain is the connection to the divine. It is where we get our inspiration, our intuition, our creativity. The feminine is um, questioning. The feminine is also um, the smaller Let me tell you something about the small. Smaller is 10,000 times stronger than the bigger. I'm telling you the truth. This is physics as well as metaphysics. We talked about the atom. The atom is energy. Split it and you can destroy a country, right? You think the atom is big? No. Think you're made of them? Uh-huh. You're also made of 70%, oh, excuse me, energy, empty space. What? How is that possible? That's not possible. It's true though. I don't understand it either. That like screws with my head, but it's true. People who are scientists and who knows, like, I believe them. Why not? I mean, we should. Okay, I don't want to get on that soapbox either, but here's the deal with the masculine and feminine parts of our brain. Do you know there's two things that you'll hear a lot in this world? You'll hear you're only using 10% of your brain. Biology meets 314. I don't I don't know what that means. Okay, anyway, they say you only use 10% of your brain. And whenever I would hear that in the past, I would think, what the hell is the rest of my brain doing? Is it lying around on a beach? Like what's going on? I don't understand. So that means what it means, by the way, it's pi, the whole. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so not a mathematician, trust me. Yeah. Um, we've been using this side of our brain and shaming, ignoring, putting down, resisting the 90% of our brain that brings in all of the new ideas that we've ever had. It's not, you cannot sit down on any day of your entire life. You cannot sit down and go, okay, today I will have an epiphany. Today I will have a new idea that I've never thought of before. You can't do that. Epiphany comes from, oh my God, I never thought of that before. That's an epiphany. And it comes from this side. And when we slip up and let something come through, that's those wonderful moments of, holy crap, I never thought of it that way. Andrew Boniface. Hey, good to see you, buddy. Um, Talking about how we can shift our brain and how we can truly, totally transmute our personality, like the negative aspects of us, transmute them into a higher energy. It's amazing. Right. So the other thing that happens with the 10% of the brain thing is that, should I really go into this? No. Well, okay. I said I would give you another thing. So here's the other thing. If you look at, what's the word? If you look at any of the sacred texts of the world, the Kabbalah, the Bible, the Vedas, all of these, the Quran, every single one of them has been misread and mistaught. Misread because it's been taken as they've all been taken as books that tell you how to be a good girl or a bad girl, a good boy or a bad boy. And that if you just do things right, you'll get God's favor. This is the biggest chain that is around our ankles. Once you see it, once you understand that it is, then you can start to, be pulling it away from different parts of you, right? You can be pulling it away and going, I'm not, wow, I see it. That when you see it, when you see something, you have that aha, that epiphany. That's what it's meant by the truth shall set you free. When you get that idea, you go, holy crap, I see everything completely differently. It automatically sets you free from seeing things in a way that limited you, doesn't it? Right? Look at Kiss the Lean go. Girl, boy, whoever you I can't tell who anybody is, but thank you so much. We do. We are so addicted to struggle. We've been taught that if you struggle, girl, okay, Kisteline, thank you very much. Um, we are addicted to struggle. We're addicted to worry because we've learned and we've practiced this. Okay. Start to understand we've practiced this. We can practice, we can bring somebody else to that party and let it start to shift forever. But we've been taught you absolutely have no power, and that's a lie. We've been taught you are a victim to your life. That is a lie. Will you be a victim to certain events in your life? Yes, you will. But can you then become vibrationally greater because of the true power that you have as an energy being so that you don't have those experiences anymore? Yes, you can. Autumn. Autumn is my best friend's grandchild. This is cool. We're talking about depression and how to actually transmute the brain, actually shift, because that's what I did, was completely shift out of clinical depression after 40 years, and that is not a small thing at all, and it's hard to even believe, It's like, "Oh, come on, yeah, sure you did," or, "Oh, you must be blessed," or something like that, um, and, you know what? We're all blessed, and so the real question is a very different one from what we've been taught. The real question is, can we learn how to let ourselves be in alignment with that that clean energy that we actually are made of? I mean, this is deep stuff, right? Like, this is intense. And I remember I've watched God, I haven't watched for a little while now, maybe 6 months or so, but I was watching, Abraham Hicks on YouTube a lot because it would bring up my energy. It would lift my energy. I would feel better. But I did not understand something super important that I wanna tell you guys, and the super important thing is, you may think that, "Okay, if I feel better, that's nice. I feel better for a minute, or I feel better for a day, or I feel better for a week, but then I go back to depression, like, what's the point?" Right? The point is that when you start working with your emotional energy, you have to be aware of your emotion. You have to be aware of any feelings or sensings or how your body feels. And you have to understand that when you are deliberate and intentional and focused. So you're going, okay, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to, I'm going to make this, I'm going to see if I can't make this shift. And when you do that, when you are using your deliberateness, your intention, and your focus, because wherever you focus magnifies, that energy magnifies. So when you are focusing on, okay, here's how I feel. It's not so great how I feel. And I'm going to bring somebody else to the party as well. I'm not going to should on myself. I'm not going to try to shove my bad feeling out because it's what I am feeling, but I'm also going to bring in somebody who is a rayolite. And then I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to pay attention to how that feels. I'm going to pay attention to the smallest of shifts. And I'm going to explore that little shift. I'm going to go, hey, that's interesting. I didn't know I could just invite that in. That's kind of interesting. I thought if I was depressed or anxious that I just had to feel that way until it passed on its own at its own rhythm. You mean I can feel something a little different for a minute? Like, really? But how does that help? How does that really help? Well, it helps because as an energy-based being, when you bring in and then focus even a little bit on something that's a higher vibration from wherever you're currently standing, you've just changed where you're standing. You've transformed your emotional set point. You were down here, now you're here. And you're not You will feel certain things that you go, "Oh, that reminds me. I felt that before." But you're not gonna live here anymore. You can't do that, you can't do that in just one session necessarily. Some people can do that and, like, shift out. There it happens. They're just ripe. But this is not about comparing ourselves to other people and saying, are we gonna make it? Are we gonna be like that other person?" This is about how do I make my life, the quality of my life better? And I want you to know that you can. And it's because of your emotions. That very thing that is kicking your butt, you're very good at it, aren't you? You're very aware of it, aren't you? And that's actually, under the surface, your superpower, because you are so tuned into emotion and feeling and sensing that when you decide, I'm going to bring somebody else to the party, you're going to notice if there's a shift. And if you give yourself a little bit of time, give yourself a minute, literally 1 minute to write, to sit down, keep your focus here, keep your focus on yourself, your insides, on your feeling, not on what you're thinking about your feeling, and start writing about it. As you're doing this, you're like, wow, I feel like there's a little tiny pinprick of light, like right here. That's really interesting. I don't think it's gonna, like, heal my whole life in this moment, but that's pretty cool, right? So you're being honest with yourself, but you're not determined to be miserable. We get determined to be miserable because it's a feedback loop. The brain gives us a feedback loop. In fact, here, let me read something to you. Hi, Devin. Hi, babe. It's good to see you. Thank you for the roses. You always make me feel like such a special girl. I want to read something to you. I was doing research on ChatGPT about the brain because I'm only now just starting to learn about the brain. And apparently, what I did when I shifted out of the depression is I gave myself neuroplastic change. And this is fascinating. It says it worked because you intervened at the level where mood is generated, not where it's merely explained. Now, I don't know about you, but that rings my chimes. It worked because you intervened at the level where mood is generated. Oh, hell yeah. I always wanted to have the source code of where the problem was so I could fix it. And then it would just, like, you know, come out in all of the different ways in my body and in my emotions and in my thoughts and in my behaviors. And so let me tell you what this beautiful description of depression is. This is just so incredible. Neurologically, chronic clinical depression is a self reinforcing loop. Does that not ring true? It's a self reinforcing loop. And it works across several brain systems. It works across four of them. Aren't we lucky? Four of them. The limbic system, okay, I have to look it up. Like, I have to just go see where it literally is, but it's the amygdala. It's the fight or flight, right? And it affects our feeling of whether we feel threatened, our fear of loss, and also our emotional memory. Our emotional memory. Yeah, Jure, this is true. Okay, that's number one. Number two, prefrontal cortex right here, which is rumination. The stories you tell yourself and the meaning you give to things. Rumination. I don't know about you, but therapists have told me across the years, you got to stop ruminating. Yeah, good luck with that. Because I didn't have anything else to do. I didn't know what else to do. Very frustrating. The third thing is something called your default mode network. That's self-referential looping. So you're sitting there going, "I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, I'm anxious," and it goes no, you go, "No, I'm not," but it goes back to yourself, goes, "But you are, you're right, I am, but no, I'm not, but yes, yeah, you're right, I am, I am, I am, I am." Don't bring anybody else to the party, that's the only guest you have inside. That's a hell of a guest. The 4th one, something called neuromodulators, which are things like, and if you take antidepressants, serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine. Okay, and it says after years, this loop becomes stable, not because it's true, but because it's rehearsed. This is why I'm telling you, we can switch, we can shift our emotional bodies. We can shift the energy, but not with willpower, not with denial. We have to do it through our energy. You don't argue with the beliefs. You do not try to just feel good, and you do not suppress what you're feeling. You start to invite in different unarguable thoughts, unarguable good feeling thoughts. I love the look of light on the trees, especially that first day of spring where you throw open your windows after a long winter and you feel like, "Oh my god, this is epic." Like, you just feel new. Now, if you felt something from that, let yourself feel that. "Oh, thank you for the share. Mighty, thank you." Or my Dee, I'm sorry. Um, so you don't argue with your beliefs. You don't try to, "Oh, let me pretend I feel great," and you don't suppress it, and that's really good. Um, but what you do is you invite in some other thoughts to play as well, and the deal is in physics as well as metaphysics, if you bring in a slightly higher, better feeling thought, that means it's energetically moving quicker. Light moves quicker than the dark, okay? That's how it works. That's how it works. That's why when you walk into a dark room and you turn on the light, the dark is gone. It's no different inside of you. Now, if you want some, if you, yeah, if you're really, really struggling, I would say the first thing that needs to happen is to get support. I've had therapists at one time or another for years at a time throughout my adult life since probably my mid 20s, late 20s. And it's good to find somebody who wants to help you move through things in a way where you do say, "Here's what's really happening," but then you have them standing there going, calling you from the other side, where they're helping you move through to be less completely identified with that trauma. Okay, so if you're really, really struggling, I'm not the person to help you because I'm not a therapist. But I am somebody who knows how to help you do this, what I call the 1% solution. I call it the 1% solution. And I've also got a free course you can take if you like, just like DM me or something and tell me you want the course and I'll send you the link, and it's on a platform where you have to put your name in and your email, but they're not going to spam you or anything. It's just a way of tracking that you're there for my stuff. Um, it's very, very important that we start to recognize where we are standing in our victimhood in little ways and big ways, any ways you can spot it. I remember when I was first in therapy in my late 20s, early 30s, and my therapist said to me, when people are doing these, bad things and all, it's really not about you. And I was like, "Oh, shut up. What do you mean it's not about me? It was about me. They were mean to me. They were awful. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous. Stop it." Like I really, really, really didn't get it. Oh, Diana, thank you for sharing. That's so awesome of you. Um, And I was like, "How could that doesn't even make sense." Well, it does. I get it now. Um, for one thing, I don't wanna be a victim to people for any minute longer than I feel like one. Like, I can determine how long I'm gonna feel that way. I can decide. And the thing is that when somebody's hurting your feelings, when somebody is just a major a-hole or whatever, um Jen, hi, Jen. She's over there on Substack. Hi, honey. Um, when somebody's a major a-hole to you, of course you feel like, "Why are you doing that to me? What the hell? What's wrong with you?" And actually, the question is the answer. They've got something inside of them that is triggered, and as a result, they act like an a-hole or they're mean to you. So, this is when we, like, get that, then we can start to be more empowered in our responses. We can start to be like, "Hey, ho, whoa," instead of, "How could you say that to" right? Nothing there's nothing wrong with crying when you're hurt. Hello? That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean to imply, okay? But when we can when we're first injured by somebody emotionally, first we have to give ourselves the compassion that you would give a 3-year-old child. Go ahead and feel like a victim. Write about it, talk it out into your phone, I don't care. Do whatever you have to do what you're trying to do is getting the energy to be more flowing instead of feeling stuck and victimized and there's nothing I can do and I don't know what can how that happened and what did I do and how could they be so mean to me? I thought I knew you and like that just gets you into this horrible sort of reinforcing cycle of feeling victimized. When in fact, we have the power to say, I have some boundaries around this and I have some rules around this. So, and we have to practice these things because they don't come just because we figured it out. So, in other words, if somebody says something that is rude or mean to me, I am more likely now. It's not in all ways because I'm a human spirit hybrid, and I'm as you are. I'm constantly in growth, constantly. So it's not about perfection and it's not about, okay, I've gone through the school of life. I should be a graduate. It's not like that. It's not about rising higher into knowledge. It's about rising into a new mind that understands that you're standing in a different relationship to you, to your life, to everybody in it. And my new rules are things like that. And I try to follow them. Sometimes I get with it and sometimes I don't. But the new rule is like, if you say something that's really mean to me, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna say, "Hey, whoa, that hurt." Or I'm gonna stop and say, "That thing you just said, were you trying to say that I'm an idiot?" Or like whatever it is that's triggering me, right? Or is that what you meant? And if the answer is, "Yeah, that's what I meant," then I have another choice to make. Do I wanna be around somebody who's gonna call me and think an idiot and think I am one? No, I don't. I have no interest in that. None. So I get to exercise that freedom, right? That's the freedom that we need to exercise to convince ourselves that we are really not slaves to the way our life turns out. And to understand that we can bring in through visioning, through meditation, through the 1% solution that I teach, we can change the nature of our lives. And that is source code stuff, you guys. Absolutely source code stuff. That's that's the place from which you are making structural, magical, light-filled shifts in your life that will radiate out through your mind, through your behaviors, through your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your actions, your possibilities. Isn't that better than shooting on yourself going, "I shouldn't act that way. I'll just make sure I'm gonna focus on how much of an a-hole I am, and I'll try not to be an a-hole." That doesn't help. That doesn't do it for you. That's like that's like pruning a tree by taking off one leaf. It's not gonna that doesn't prune the tree. You wanna go from the inside out, and you can. And if you want if you want the free course, again, if you want my free course, it's called Do the Impossible, because it feels impossible, right? No, you can't heal from your depression all by yourself. You can't do that. You can't just shift it forever. No, you're gonna be on medication for the rest of your days, or you're gonna go in and out of feeling bad and good and bad and good. You're never gonna have just a, you know, not true. You can. So if you want that, DM me and just, let me know you want the free course and I'll send you the link. Um, and in the meantime, other stuff that you can do for free that has been helpful to me is to watch Abraham Hicks on YouTube. Um, the Abraham Hicks is a channeled collection of beings that comes through a woman named Esther Hicks. They've been doing this for about 35 years now. So there's plenty to watch on YouTube. You will not run out of material. Um, Look for some of the older stuff. Like when you do the search, you put in like Abraham Hicks older videos or something like that. Um, it's not that you'll be confused by later videos. I just think it's really fun to watch her. I see people checking me out here. I appreciate you checking me out. My name's Lori. I'm with the Goodbye Good Girl Project, and we've been talking about how to shift out of troubling emotions, even as much as depression, by utilizing emotion to shift energetically. And it's something I did. So if that interests you, come on in. If not, that's just fine. Have a great evening. Um, and please share this out to other people. I appreciate it. So please know as you go into your evening or your morning or wherever you are in the world that you've been lied to when you've been told and you've believed that the world is just the way it is and you cannot change it. It doesn't mean you can go out and storm the castle. You're going to go out and storm the castle, you're going to go you can like that's the whole January 6th thing. No, 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 no. No. Mm-mm. It means you change your energy output, that thing that is on, it's on the on switch is on 24/7, every single millisecond of your life. You are manifesting every single freaking millisecond of your life. When you feel really depressed for long periods of time, you are not attracting the best that you could in your life. And that's not your fault. It's physics. So, in order to up level this, in order to give out a better signal, we have to be aware of this idea and try to wrap our minds around the idea that we can literally shift our energy, and by doing so with our emotional and our awareness, we can literally shift who we are and what we are attracting within our own mind. The ahas, the epiphanies, and also accessing the prefrontal cortex. I mean, when you're really, really miserable, it's hard to get to this thing. But you have that ability. I promise you that you do. I didn't know it before, and now I do know it, and that has changed everything. And because and I'm not you, right? You're going to have to do your own path, right? But because I want complete transformation, I'm like, let's go. Let's go. Let's let everything that comes my way, everything that comes up in my life, I'm looking at it from a different perspective, one that will transmute it rather than either um, try to push it away, which is impossible. Um, you can't just permanently push it away. And the only thing you can do with it is transmute it, to either, push it away or to drown in it. These are not the options I want. Those are not options that I want. I want complete transformation. And so that's really the blessing of depression, of long-term depression and anxiety is you get so sick of your own bull that you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna go do the meditation. Okay, I'm gonna go do the whatever it is that I think is gonna make me feel better. Okay, I'm gonna go consider this idea that we're all energy and that I could, you know." Aw, thanks, Jory. That's very, very kind of you. Um, so be maybe a little into giving yourself some relief. It's hard when you are used to beating the crap out of yourself to think about being nice to yourself. It's kind of like saying, "Okay, I want you to speak a foreign language now." And you're like, "What the hell? I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that." Um, but you can give yourself a little bit of relief. And when you give yourself that little bit of relief, and it could be a piece of chocolate, it does not have to be a big honkin' deal. But the big honkin' deal is when you feel the shift. It's not the thing that you're doing. It's does it give you a feeling that gives you a spot of relief? And then let yourself stay in that for at least like a minute and a half. Wonder about it, question it, not question it to beat it into the ground, but just be like, "Oh, God, that's fascinating. Okay, so that's weird." Or, "Okay, well, is that really gonna help?" Well, I mean, it certainly took my mind off of the depression for a minute, right? Let yourself experience something that might be different from what you've had in the past because you have neuroplasticity. Your brain has neuroplasticity, and it is yours to shift. Have a beautiful evening, have some relief, have some chocolate, and storm the castle if you want to, just not the capital. Lots of love, you guys. Thank you so, so much for being with me tonight. This is awesome. Oh, and I'm live on Sundays also at 11 a.m. Eastern when I talk about more. You're welcome. Where love you too, Devin. Um, where I talk more about the true reading of the spiritual texts, the sacred texts, and how that connects to reality, to our psychological and electromagnetic frequency that we can shift. It's pretty freaking cool. Pretty freaking cool. So be well and go have that chocolate.